Hello, my people. Welcome back to another episode of Healthy Happy Hour. I am Joseph Ward. First, I want to make sure I give a shout out to my entire Ryan White neighborhood team. Give a shout out to Mr. Mattia Sweet, Miss Kara Brown, and especially Miss Elena Steeple. I love you all, and we still here doing our thing. Even though we're getting to go back outside, but we're going to keep our virtual platform together. And today is no exception. I'm excited about today. But of course, we have to start with our housekeeping. Remember that you can view all of our podcasts, all of our Neighborhood Medical Center podcasts on our Neighborhood Medical Center YouTube channel, which you are viewing now. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, like this video, share and comment. But you can also view our podcast on our Neighborhood Medical Center podcast website, which is www.nmcpodcast.com. That's a real website, so go check it out. It's a sub website to our parent website, which is www.neighborhoodmedicalcenter.com. www.neighborhoodmedicalcenter.org. Make sure you go visit our parental website and learn more about Neighborhood Medical Center and all the services that we have to offer. You can also catch us on our podcast platforms, which is Anchor, Breaker, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and once again, we are on YouTube. So subscribe to all those platforms so you can make sure you catch every episode of either Mind Your Body and Soul or Healthy Happy Hour. All right, so I talk a lot, but that's a good thing sometimes. Sometimes me doing a lot of talking allows me to meet new people and to learn new things, and especially people who are resources within our Tallahassee community. So a couple of weeks ago, we were at an event for Women and Girls Day at Bond Community Health Center. And I'm walking through the event and I meet this young lady, Brittany Seachrist, and she's representing an organization, Humble House. And so I'm like, what is Humble House? So we started talking and she explains what Humble House is to me. So my light bulb goes off. And one of the reasons why my light bulb goes off, because even though I do HIV/AIDS prevention, I'm in the community. So understanding that people are full human beings and we have to have all type of resources for our patients and the people that we serve in the community. So I need to be connected to all different type of service providers and different resources within the community. So Ms. Brittany Seachrist is the director of Humble House Ministries in Tallahassee, Florida, which is a 12-month faith-based residential recovery program for women. She holds a certificate with the state of Florida as a certified peer recovery specialist, certified in Genesis process, a relapse prevention, compulsive behavior counseling tool. We're gonna learn about that. And formerly served in the Most Excellent Way Ministries and taught classes in church at the Bay County Jail in Panama City and Gadsden Prison for the last 6 years. So she's experienced. In addition, she's previously worked as a program case manager at the Bethel Village, a women's faith-based recovery program in Panama City. She has a heart for women who are struggling with addiction and has the desire to duplicate the ministry that helped set her free from her own drug addiction 7 years ago. So she's married to Kyle Seachrist. They've been married since August 2020. Yes. Have 2 children, Kayden and Kiley. Hey, Kayden. Hey, Kylie. How y'all doing? And she's a member of the Red Hills Church here in Tallahassee. Welcome, Brittany. Welcome to Healthy Happy Hour. Congratulations on everything. You have an excellent resume. And like I say, it was excellent meeting you. I loved your energy and everything. So that's what made me say, I want to get your card. And I want to have you on our podcast because I want to make sure more people know about you and the excellent things that you're doing in the community. So congratulations and welcome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me. That was one of the things is trying to get the word out there.
So before we get into the Humble House, I know I kind of gave an overview, but
sure.
What really, because there are a lot, I've met a lot of people who have beat addiction before, but not a lot of people choose to go back and help others. What made you want to reach back and help other people who are in the same position you were in?
Honestly, I felt like it was what was going to help me stay accountable and kind of really and truly remind me where I came from. Sometimes it can be so far removed that we don't remember what it was really like to be living that lifestyle. And I wanted to live a life of excellence. I didn't want to just settle for, okay, I'm clean, that's the end of the story. Why wouldn't you want to help somebody? Especially, I think about, if you have a cure for cancer, are you going to share it, or are you going to just keep it for yourself? And I feel like giving it away, and that's part of the 12th step as well. If you're familiar with the 12 steps, step 12 is literally giving back everything that you have gotten in the recovery process. So,
okay. No, that's excellent. And you made me think about something. I want to talk to you more about that when we get off. But Humble House, because I've heard of it, but just the conversations, nobody really explained it to me. Then when I met you, I got a lot more information, was able to go to the website. But for those who've never heard of Humble House, could you kind of tell us about it?
Yeah, sure. So Humble House was birthed in Panama City in 2020. It was after my director and best friend, Rachel Duvall, and we had been let go from Bethel Village due to COVID and some cutbacks and financial reasons and just all of that. We had already wanted to open our own program, and because there were some things that changed within the rescue mission that we didn't feel was conducive to the recovery process. And so, long story short, it was birthed out of us being let go from Bethel Village. And so Bethel Village is an entity, part of the Panama City Rescue Mission. So in 2020, I had actually just married my husband and moved up here, but Rachel opened it. And in Panama City, she started it as a transitional program for women that were just getting out of jail, because she did do some work in the Bay County Jail, and just saw that they didn't have a lot of safe places to go to, and accountability and stuff like that, the support that they would need after getting out of jail. And so she opened it at that point in time. Now, since I had moved here, I started praying about wanting to, I was just really missing what I did back home. And I just see so many hurting women and really just so many hurting people here in Tallahassee that I thought, man, it would be so cool to be able to have a Humble House Tallahassee. Started praying, and we were able to open in June of last year. We then transitioned from a transitional recovery house, which is how we started, to a 12-month faith-based recovery program in October of last year.
Okay. And so just to make sure I have a full understanding, the main campus, or the original campus, is in Panama City.
That's correct.
And then there's also a Humble House Tallahassee.
That's right.
All right.
As a matter of fact, so the cool thing about us, the way that it's just ended up working out is Humble House as a whole, we have a transitional home in Panama City. We have a 3 to 6 month program in Panama City, and we are the long-term program here in Tallahassee. So we offer different variety of different help. And so I do like that about us. So
what made, because I know you were saying Tallahassee needs one, but what was some of the main factors to make you say we have to have a real push for having a Humble House in Tallahassee?
Really, it was probably just my own desire. I really just didn't want to go back into, political workforce, to be honest with you. This is what I know, and this is what I feel that God has gifted me with, is counseling and being a part of women's lives that are transforming. It's unbelievable to watch somebody's life change, and I'm just kind of addicted to that, to be honest with you. And I just felt really compelled to do it. So.
But I appreciate it though, because it's, you saw a need and you feel that need, and especially in a city like this, something like recovery, that shouldn't be like monopolized, anything like that. So it's room for everybody.
Right.
So, okay. So for somebody who knows nothing about recovery or the steps in the program, can you kind of take us through, if I'm looking to get into recovery in Humble House, what is that process like, getting into Humble House, and what is the recovery process like?
Okay. So initially, before anybody comes in, unless you're coming from jail or you already have some clean time, that person would go to detox first.
Okay.
And that, because we're not equipped to handle the detox part, we don't have medical staff on board or any of that. And so the detox process needs to happen at a detox facility. And then when someone comes into the program, the first 9 months of the program is designed for healing, for really just learning how to sit still, learning how to cope, learning how to have relationships within the house, because it's its own community. You learn how to conflict resolution and deal with things without using drugs, which is a lot of their issue is they don't know how to work through hard things, apart from really just numbing, their emotions. And so it really just creates an environment to work through all of that. A lot of the root of addiction is trauma from childhood, from just different things, from molestation, abortions, just really codependency, feeling the need to fit in, but you don't. So you get with this crowd. And so there's just a lot of different root issues there in the heart, and just getting down to those issues. The first 9 months is really pertinent. And then there is discipleship. We do disciple. And so we teach the Bible here, and that goes alongside with, the recovery aspect. But all of those things together, hopefully will prepare someone to move to the next phase of the program, which would be transition. So the last 3 months of the program is designed to help them learn how to budget, get a job, get their phone back and different freedoms, and learn how to exercise those with accountability, and just being responsible, really.
Right.
And not going back to old relationships or old people, because you can't do that. And so based on how they do there, then they get to graduate and have an exit plan, and that's all signed off and approved by our staff. So
it's
very detailed process.
I see, but it's in my opinion, and it's just from what I've just learned from life, detailed plans help you become successful.
I agree.
Rather than just trying to throw something at the wall and hope something sticks. Because if I have a detailed plan, I know it, especially if I'm trying to, we're talking about habit changing. So a detailed plan to be able to put in place so a person knows what that next step is. And that next step is going to help. It's going to become routine after a while. And so I get it. And
that's why the 9 months is so important. So you really get a structure down and, these new habits for sure.
Right. So, just trying to understand the detox process a bit. So you're saying if a person comes to recovery without going through detox, that would make the process more difficult?
Yeah, usually, because there's a lot of, especially with drugs and like opiates, heroin, pain pills, and alcohol. Those both have a physical component that can cause you to have seizures, also Xanax, that can cause medical issues. And so, yes, when you don't go through detox and you just try to come in and start the program, I mean, we have a schedule, and, you have to be up and you have to be able to get moving and be engaged in classes and different things. So the detox portion is important. Methamphetamines and some other drugs along those lines, they have more of an emotional component where, the emotions are a little bit easier to deal with than the physical, but it just helps to be able to have been detoxed before the process starts, because you kind of hit the ground running when you get here,
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And I got you. Okay. And now but that helps me understand better, because I've always heard people talk about detox, but I thought detox and the actual recovery program were the same thing, the way it was spoken about.
Right. Yeah. It's usually about a week or so for that process to take place. It's just that first initial, when especially if you quit cold turkey, I mean, you're going to kind of be a little out of whack for a week or so. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So a person goes through the program. So from what I understand about recovery is it could take, for some people, it could take several trips through the program. And so how does that work, as far as is it about a timing thing? Is it about a personal choice thing? Is it about just once this person gets to this point?
Right. There's so many factors, with that. A lot of times people come to programs because either they're court ordered, they're made to by legal system.
Okay.
Their parents have kind of given them an ultimatum, but they're really not done. Like they're really, if in their heart, they want to keep doing drugs.
Gotcha.
And so that really does change things. I'll just use myself for an example because I believe that you don't have to keep going back. I did rehab one time because I was done. I was ready. As a matter of fact, today is actually kind of cool. Today is my 7 years clean today. So that's really exciting.
Yes.
I went to detox yesterday, 7 years ago. And but I was ready. I was just done living like that. I was tired. I had a son. Like there's just no reason for it anymore. I had my fill, I guess you could say. And, unfortunately that's not everybody's case, but you're more likely to only go through one time if you're really at that place of I'm willing to do whatever it takes. As a matter of fact, that's what I look for when I interview ladies. Like, are you sure you're willing to do whatever it takes? Because I want people to be in it for the long haul, and not just, I'm just here because I want a roof over my head. That's not the type of program that we are. Although there are other places in Tallahassee that provide that help, and I'm grateful for them, but that's not what we do. So
right. You want to make sure that they can,
that they're ready for change.
Right. So what gets a person to that point to where they are ready to make that change? And I'm asking that because I've known from other realms where you see somebody when they want to make a change, when they're at that fed up point, but just from your experience, and not just from your personal experience, but from working with others, what is usually that thing that makes the person say, this is my breaking point, this is why I need to make this change?
So a gamut of different reasons. DCF cases, being threatened of their children being taken away, and legal, like I don't want to go to prison, because I've maybe been arrested a couple times, got out because I was only there overnight, but the thought of going to prison for long term is scary. So that typically will get a person to that place. Becoming homeless, that personally, that was mine. I had never lived like that before, and I couldn't do it, and so, and I'm grateful for that. But so being homeless, those are really the biggest reasons, or maybe having been homeless for a little while and realizing like, this is not the life that I thought I would ever have, and so those usually are the three main reasons.
Gotcha.
Or you run out of money and resources.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, okay, well, maybe I should make a change here.
Right. Now it's interesting because I just recently started reading a book called The Power of Habit. And one of the processes that they have as far as for helping people change their habits is the 12-step program from because he talks about the guy who created the AA program and how they use the same principles to help people change their habits. And I'm always I've been recommending that book for like the last month now because it's an excellent book to read. But how do you help the patients or the clients that come through kind of get to the point to understanding habit changing and implementing new habits within I guess the programs or the different sessions and things that you teach them?
Well, I think it's just presenting the benefits and the consequences of not doing that thing anymore, And so a lot of times, women get here, they're done with the drugs, but then the next issue is food. And a lot of times people gain weight because they exchange one thing for another, or they just haven't really been eating good at all. And so they're just starving to death, And so, but then they start gaining some weight and then they realize, okay, no, I don't want to do this, like this is not going to work for me. And so then realizing what are the benefits of cutting back on your portions and I use that because it's most common.
Right.
Smoking cigarettes as well. They can't smoke cigarettes here. And so, that is another component of our program. And so it's realizing too, okay, that's not a healthy choice for me. And not only that, but that was a thing that I did when I was using or when I was drunk or, whatever. And so really getting a person to self-evaluate and see how it could benefit them in making that change.
Okay. So now I'm a bit curious now because I've done classes at other recovery programs, I've had relationships, done events and things, collaborated. And cigarette smoking is one of the things that I see some of the men or women doing to try to help cope. So with the absence of cigarette smoking, how is the coping as far as for the people in your program? What are some other positive things that you all, or healthier things that you all offer them?
So we have had a guy come in to do smoking cessation. Typically, as a matter of fact, right now, all of my girls except for one are just done with that anyway. So it's not really a huge problem. Some they quit for the sake of just being able to come here.
Right.
And so it's a little bit harder for them. And so anyways, so the food is the exchange, is the coping thing. I wouldn't necessarily say it's healthy, but we also have an exercise time every day. We have that smoking cessation class I mentioned, and nicotine replacement for people that are first getting here. And so we don't just make them cold turkey off of it, although we don't encourage that throughout the whole process.
Right.
Because again, it's just exchanging one thing for another. And I really, no offense to anybody that smokes or anything like that, but I really do feel that there is a difference in, I guess, the standard that we set because we're not a smoking facility. And because I have seen it too. It's like, you're just smoking cigarettes all day long. It's like, well, that's not healthy either, you know? So
have a replacement and you want to replace it with healthier habits.
Right.
Okay. Now, but I like that. I actually do like that. So that's cool. So, earlier you talked about an interview process for people coming into the program. So before they get to the interview, are there any requirements to be accepted into Humble House?
Not necessarily. You're willing to quit smoking. You're willing to, be okay with not working for a little while, not having a boyfriend. No, we don't do relationships unless you're married. Obviously, we want to mend that relationship. As long as you're okay with the requirements and what the program entails, and you want the life change, like I mentioned, there's really not, we do ask for program fees, but our heart is to be able to allow anybody to be able to come, because a lot of people in this position don't have financial assistance, like help. We don't take insurance. So it would literally just be family support, church support, stuff like that. So really outside of that, there's no real other requirements. None that I can think of right this second.
Okay. And what is the interview process like?
Well, when somebody's interested, they would fill out an application. That's either could be emailed, or you can get it on our website at humblehouseministries.org. They fill the application out, send it to me. I can review it and then set up for an interview, do the interview. I like to do face-to-face if possible. Although I have had a couple situations where I have a girl here from Daytona Beach. I never got to interview her in person. It was just over the phone. And so she's been here for almost 6 months. So she's doing great. But that's pretty much the process. Set up the interview. If everything is good and they're ready, I try to get them here as quickly as possible, because a lot of times that window of opportunity is very short.
And usually if a person isn't a good fit, that's because they are not ready for the process.
Right. Yeah. Or maybe they're not ready to quit smoking, or they have a boyfriend. Nope, that's not going to work for me. I need to be making money. That's a big one. I need to be making money. And it just depends on what's going on in their life too. If they're not in a position to like quit their job and whatever, then our program wouldn't be a good fit.
Okay. So when they're at a Humble House, they're pretty much there, and everything they need, you guys supply them.
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
we do take care of everybody. Yeah.
Gotcha. But that's different, because it's like, okay, you are in our world now. We're gonna keep you in our world until you get the healing that you need.
That's
and
right.
then you're going back out with the resources and the information and steps that you need, because I've seen a lot of people that I've encountered from various different programs that I've been acquainted with. I've seen some young ladies, and any young ladies that's watching this that have been able to fully recover, congratulations. But I've seen some young ladies who have relapsed.
Right.
And I've seen more who have relapsed than who were able to continue their sobriety. And
right.
I guess it's just, I always try to, I know I don't know, but I always ask the question why, and I always want to know why. And sometimes I know I get myself in trouble because I'm asking questions that I might not need to ask, but I'm always asking myself why. So I'm just always trying to figure out exactly what the different organizations can present. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we know that it's up to the person to make that choice.
That is absolutely right. We can't. Nobody can force them to do it.
Right.
No.
But just seeing the resources that are available and hoping that people can take advantage of them, so they won't relapse.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So, but I love that. So I'm looking at the Humble House website, and so I clicked on our program. So I'm hovering my mouse over our programs, and I see the Panama City Transitional and the Tallahassee Recovery. And so these are the ones they will click on for somebody to apply, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. So when you click on Tallahassee, it should pull up a thing that says application or apply here or something like that. And it should pull up as a PDF, the application.
Yes. Okay.
Another thing I wanted to mention too that we do, which is kind of separate. I know in my bio talked about Most Excellent Way. That's something that I've also brought here to Tallahassee. So I teach a recovery meeting on Wednesday nights. It's open to the community. And that was one thing that I wanted to make sure to mention as well for anybody that just wants a faith-based recovery meeting. It's a little different than CR. It's a little different than AA or NA, but it is recovery related. That's open to any women. It's a women's only support group on Wednesday nights at 6 here at Tallahassee Heights.
Okay.
I wanted to throw that out there as well.
That's cool. That's cool, because we want to make sure that that's highlighted, because some of the people I was thinking about could benefit from that.
Right.
From that, because
like maybe they can't come to the program, but to be connected in that way. Sure.
Right. I just believe in just trying to connect people with as many resources as possible. And you guys are an excellent resource that our community could utilize and could need. And so whenever we're having events and you want to come out and set up a table, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, I would love that.
I know the 28th, I know we're doing a food distribution. That's kind of small, but if you want to come out, pass out some information at our food drive, you can. I'm going to add you to my email list. So every time we're doing something, you'll know about it. But I want to make sure that you guys have the opportunity to come out and set up a table and pass out information whenever we have events, because you're an excellent resource in the community. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. No problem. So what are the best ways for people to, somebody see this interview, let's say Oprah, Ellen, somebody see this interview, they want to interview you. What's the best way people can contact you and get in contact with Humble House? Okay. I would say email is probably the best. humblehouse.tally@gmail.com. That's my email address. Our phone number here to the center is 850-999-2490. And so those two ways are going to be the best ways to reach me, email first. But
yeah, and we're also on Facebook. So you can follow us on Facebook, see different things that are going on. We will have our year anniversary celebration. It's going to be a family friendly celebration on June 18th, which is a Saturday from 11 to 1. So we'll have some testimonies, a little update about what's going on here. And hopefully we'll have some other fun stuff like a bounce house and petting zoo and just different things like that, door prizes. So
that's amazing. That's amazing. Definitely, please send me that information, flyers,
yeah,
so I can spread that out through my email.
Okay.
Thing. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, for sure.
Now it's definitely been a pleasure meeting you, having a conversation with you, learning more about Humble House, and I want to make sure that, like I said again, I want to make sure that we're part of the process, that we are connecting, and we're working together, and I'm definitely going to be referring people to you.
Okay, well, I appreciate it so much.
Yes, ma'am. We can help with that. Definitely help with that. And we're gonna stay in touch and just do what we do and continue working in the community. But once again, congratulations. 7 years, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Because that's big. And I know a lot of people try to downsize that, but that's big to be able to change your habits and take back control of your life. And most people don't realize, just on small levels or things that they overlook, how they can control their lives. But to be able to gain back control of your life and be in control and directing your life the way you need to direct your life, in a way that not only are you enhancing yourself, but you're helping others. That's a blessing. You are a blessing. And thank you for having the heart and the mind to give back.
For sure. And I just wanted to say this too, for anybody that is struggling in this area, you've never gone too far or too deep. I was a IV drug user. I was completely strung out and became homeless, lost everything. But now what God has given me back through this process is something that is worth living for. And there is hope. And God is able to restore that in your life. And so I just wanted to say that to anybody that might be listening that is struggling, and to reach out for help, that there is help out there. Even if we can't help you, I can point you in the direction of somebody that can. And so just stay encouraged.
Yep. It's not over until you quit.
That's right. That's right.
Brittany Seachrist, everybody. Brittany Seachrist. If you didn't know, now you know, and I know you want to know more. So visit her website, visit the Humble House website, contact her directly. Information is in the description of this video. And this is what we do. This is why Healthy Happy Hour exists. And this is another reason why when I wake up in the morning, I'm excited to go to work. Because I was sure excited for this interview today. So thank you. So remember, you can catch our podcast, Anchor, Breaker Radio, Public Pocket Cast, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and especially here on YouTube. She's Brittany Seachrist. I am Joseph Ward. This is Healthy Happy Hour, and we will see you guys next time. Peace out.